We're really living in a bizarro world. I was watching the White House press secretary, Sean Spicer, yesterday, and he said that it's, quote, somewhat sad that people are still talking about the presidential election, which is weird since Donald Trump has talked about it every day over the last week and on nearly 40% of all days since the November election. Here's Sean Spicer yesterday.
But you play a game 4 quarters, you play an election until election day. Well, with all due respect to her, that's not how it works. You don't get to pick the day the election's on. It's set by the Constitution. The president won 306 electoral votes, and I think there's been plenty of analysis on the election and where people chose to spend their time and their resources and their messaging. And I think it's somewhat sad that we're still debating why the president won in the fashion that he did.
Just recently, during a Reuters interview, Donald Trump passed out maps of the election results to reporters. 2 days ago, Donald Trump sent out a tweet which said Trump-Russia story was an excuse used by the Democrats as justification for losing the election. Perhaps Trump just ran a great campaign. Trump also mentioned the election the day before that and the 5 days before that. And on more than a third of the days since the November 8th election, Donald Trump has mentioned the election results. That's just on Twitter, based on a Washington Post analysis of Donald Trump's Twitter account. On 68 of the 176 days since November 8th, Trump has mentioned the election win in some way, shape, or form on Twitter. And then, of course, there's all of the times outside of Twitter where he has done it. Why is Trump so obsessed with the election results? Could it be because, as I've been saying for months, Donald Trump never wanted to be president. He just wanted to win the election, period. He spent 10 minutes reminiscing about the election win at his last rally. We don't even know why he's having these rallies. He sounded, Pat, the kid you went to high school with, who now is still talking about that time he bullied someone or won a fight or something like that. And you're kind of like, we're adults now. Is there nothing else to talk about at this point?
I honestly think that Donald Trump would be happier had the roles switched, in that Trump had won the popular vote and Hillary Clinton assumed the presidency by the Electoral College, because he sees it as a popularity contest and he can't get over the fact that he lost the popular vote by 3 million.
Right. If Trump had won the popular vote by 3 million, but lost the electoral vote, he could be, number one, not having to be president, which, as we figured out, he doesn't really like doing. Number two, he could just be criticizing Hillary Clinton, which we know he really does like doing. Number three, claiming victory in the popularity contest. And number four, still running his businesses, which it seems like what he's really would rather be doing anyway.
And number five, attacking the system as corrupt. And he would be right in that argument.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Breaking news, though. Sean Spicer actually didn't lie during an answer. He said it's somewhat sad that people are still talking about the election. And he was right about that. Of course, he was including Trump in that.
And I think the funny part is that Sean Spicer had the winning point in that exchange, which is that the election wasn't held on October 28th. Everyone knew all along it was going to be on November 8th. And yet he still managed to create this gaffe on an unforced error.
Trump needs to come up with a second accomplishment to cite, right? Because he can't, how long is he going to cite that he won the election as his main accomplishment? And I know that sometimes he talks about, well, our big win is Neil Gorsuch. The Senate had to literally go nuclear in order to get Neil Gorsuch in there. It's not exactly a major presidential accomplishment, is it?
I've heard Trump brag that he's the first president in decades to get a Supreme Court justice confirmed in their first 100 days.
Yeah.
That's true, but also that is much more dependent on circumstance, meaning that you need to have an open seat on the Supreme Court to make that happen.
Right. When Republican senators make someone wait hundreds of days simply waiting around for an election, it's very easy to do that in the first 100 days. It's been teed up and waiting for you to just walk up to it with a bat.
And honestly, I could do that. I could look at a list of names and just pick one. That's all he had to do, because think tanks had the list provided for him.
Yeah, I mean, just absolutely pathetic that his accomplishments are having won the election and having gotten Neil Gorsuch on the Supreme Court. Today's episode of the David Pakman Show is made possible in part by Warby Parker eyeglasses. Warby Parker recently did the right thing and ditched advertising on right-wing conspiracy website Breitbart, pulling their ads off. And you can get the free 5-day home try-on from Warby Parker. Check out their glasses. I use them when I'm not wearing contact lenses. I started with the free at-home trial. They send you 5 pairs of glasses. You see which ones you like. You send them back, and whichever one you pick, they will put your prescription into. I like this because I can actually show the glasses to other people and not have to just decide on the spot like in an eyeglass store. The eyeglass industry is controlled by very few corporations that keep the prices very, very high, even over $300 for prescription glasses. With Warby Parker, they start at just $95. Mine costs that, including lenses. And for every pair sold, they give a pair to someone in need. So to try the 5 pairs and support the David Pakman Show, go to warbyparkertrial.com/TDPS.